Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to lock this layer, and then you want to add a new layer above. And once again, you're going to select all of the frames and press F7 to create keyframes. Now we're going to start drawing. Whenever you're using a figure which has so many moving parts that are oriented in front of and behind each other when you're moving, it is best to use several layers and to put each of the body parts that is going to be moving on a separate layer. Now we're doing a very simple walk cycle, so we're going to get away with just 3 or 4 layers. So let's see what we can do here. We'll have, I believe we'll end up with 4 layers. So first you want to draw the near side leg only. To get ready for this, we've got our rulers on, and we want to draw on some guides. This will make it easier. We're going to draw on a guide that lines up with the ground plane, and we're going to draw on a guide that lines up with the middle line that Preston Blair had put in. So you've got a line that's at the top of the frame, you've got a line that is the middle line of the figure that Preston Blair had set up, and you've got a line that is the ground plane. Now we'll draw in a line that will represent the middle of the hip, where the hip bone articulates with the leg. And we'll now bring in another line that is vertical to center on that. Now, as the figure is moving, they're going to be moving and the whole body is going to move around, but we want to have some place that's kind of a reference point that we can look back at. And then we can say, yeah, that is what that is, and I want to stay somewhere near that. So that's important to do that. Now let's title this layer so we know which layer it is. This is going to be the near leg. Near leg. Okay? Command save. And now we're going to get a strong color and a medium brush so we can get the shape without getting too detaily, because we're doing this fast. So I'm going to use a light but not too light blue. I am going to get a brush which is round and fairly wide. And now I'm going to draw this leg. I'm going to do it on each frame. I have to make sure that I have the keyframe selected or it won't draw. And here we go. You want to make sure that you draw each one. And now you begin to see why we need to have layers, because as I draw this leg, it's going to cover his hand. You don't want to cover up your hand with the leg. You want to have the hand in front of the leg. So these are the different frames that the animators have used for years, because Preston Blair and all the other animators did very similar walk cycles. And they had, as they were working on these walk cycles, they began to see the different parts of the walk cycle and to name them so that they could refer to them. So I've given you a list of those different names on your handout. Right now we want to make sure that we follow the cycle that Blair had invented, but eventually you're going to want to start making your own kind of cycles, your own walks, and then knowing what those particular parts of the walk cycle do will help you to determine how you're going to draw that walk cycle, because it's all related to motion and gravity. Now you can go back and fill in. I like to fill in with the same color. And that way I can also make sure that I got all of the frames drawn correctly. Sometimes you get confused and you draw the wrong leg, so I'm warning you that's going to happen, at least to somebody, probably me even. So there we go. So the near leg is done. Now we lock the near leg, Command S to save. Let's add a new layer. Once again, you want to select all of the frames and press F7 to create all the keyframes. Now we can hide that leg. And now we're going to draw the far leg. Now let's make the far leg a dark blue color. And this will remind us that we need to be on the shaded leg. This is the one that, like I say, you can get drawing on the wrong leg. So this is the far leg, and that's the one that most often ends up causing someone some problems. So just letting you know, warning you, so you can be prepared. The far leg is the dark leg. So once again, you want to get your brush, make sure you have a good brush tool, and you want to draw it on each frame. And keep reminding yourself you are drawing the one that has the shading on it. So you don't accidentally draw the same leg that you drew on the other layer. Especially when it goes behind the other leg, it's so very tempting to just draw on that leg instead. And that's the reason I had you draw the near leg first, even though you're going to have to reorganize your layers, is because it is a lot easier to draw the near leg than it is to draw the far leg. And I wanted you to sort of get used to doing this before we went and did the hard one. Okay, lock that. And you don't need to have the eyeball on really. But now we're going to reorganize them so the far leg's behind the near leg. And now we're going to add a layer for the torso.